What's up, boys? Stratman, welcome. I made an order recently, and I regretted not getting 50 tins of the Peterson's rendition of Dunhill Flake. As soon as I got a huge order of Cornell and Deal, it arrived, and then I realized I really just wanted 20 tins of Dunhill Flake. I bought 8 ounces of Montgomery, 8 ounces of Telegraph Hill, 8 ounces of Embarcadero, 8 ounces of Triple Play. Triple Play is the best, by the way. The weirdest one so far is Montgomery. I have not I have not warmed up to that blend yet. They all have decent ratings on tobacco reviews, but I do think it's hard to improve upon Oak Alley. I don't have any Oak Alley right now, but when my memory tells me that I know what potential that it has and what it can offer, and it's just after 5 years of smoking it, I think it's hard to compete with. I purposely try not to order it so I can. If you stick with your favorites for too long, you don't explore. But after a while, I think it's time to give up and just order what you like. I think this summer is maybe. I'm getting older now, so I think my appetite for experimentation is getting thinner and thinner and thinner, and I think I should just start ordering that which I know that I love, but to be determined at this point. It's not canoeing, it's kayaking. Oh, you don't smoke anymore. Okay. Canoeing's a whole different sport altogether. I have pictures, but I can't really share them through this app, I don't think. Hmm. I can. I'll grab my phone. I can. I can share some pictures through the camera here. Hold on. It is a valuable topic because this kayak, inflatable kayak, was I would say it was fairly transformative in terms of enjoyment. Let's see if I can find my phone here. Every man buys different toys to play with: motorcycles, boats, sports cars, telescopes, electronics, stereos, speakers, amplifiers, headphones. There's probably about 10 different types of toys that men get into. I've been through half of them. I have the rest of my life to explore the rest. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can get this to twist here. Come on. Let's see. Well, there's a beautiful picture, as you can see. Trying to get away from the glare here. That was the front of my kayak 3 days ago, about 8:30 in the morning. This is probably a better picture. Oh, hold on. That was a video. Sorry. Let me find a more complete picture here. Hold on a second. Yeah, this is more typical. And these are local lakes within the North Carolina, Virginia territory. Not exotic locations. But I'm amazed to your comment, Tranquil. I am amazed that you get on the water at 8:30 in the morning on a Saturday. Your mind is totally transformed into being on the water is very different than looking at the water. So I got my little 24 pound-feet of torque trolling motor with my lithium-ion battery. I can move at about 3.5 to 4 miles an hour, which is perfect. I've got an umbrella. I've got a cooler. I've got my Jackery 300 power station. It is like it's like camping on the water. It is fantastic. I have you got your Bluetooth speaker. So it's literally like having a campsite, but it's mobile. So you're moving your campsite through canals, through lakes. For someone as impatient as I am, I don't think I could ever really do the traditional camping of like setting up camp and staying in one place. I like the fact that you can move. Even if it's at 3.5 miles an hour, doesn't matter. You're in constant motion. So there's always something coming at you, little by little. I usually bring one pipe, a corn cob, just in case I get wet. I'm not going to bring a briar pipe, but I bring really strong ginger ale and a thermos of hot coffee. Like whenever you go camping, you want all your accoutrement around you. You want beef jerky, you want Mentos, you want hot coffee. I don't know. It's really weird when you're on the water in a canoe-like raft, which is a kayak. It's amazing. A Mentos on the water while traveling tastes so much better than a Mentos in your car while driving down the highway. So little treats, like little food treats, take on a whole different satisfaction level when you're on a kayak than it does if you're sitting in your living room. I can't explain it, but it's true. To the point where on my last couple trips, you start getting frustrated if you don't have your favorite treats on you. It wouldn't bother you if you're in your car and you don't have your favorite treats. But I think it's because you're committed. Once you're on the water, you're gonna be on the water for like 2 hours, and so you want to make sure you have like a variety. That's the point. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. You want to make sure you have like a variety of distractions or treats, music, tobacco. It's been an educational experience about how to maximize fun on the water. I'll tell another quick story here. I have little patience to explore new music or new albums in my house or in my car. But when I'm on the water, it's a perfect atmosphere to start playing new music or new albums because you're already in a foreign environment. And so I get very impatient in my car or in my house to play music I don't like. But on the water, your mind is kind of open to new experiences. And so I can't explain why it happens, but I have a, a much more open mind of exploring new music, either in an airplane or in a boat. It makes no sense, but it's true for me. We kayaked down the, I'm not going to pronounce that, Nesquoquo River and camped on Short Beach at the north end of the river. Long Island Sound. Okay. Long Island was my son's Boy Scouts. Long Island, like Long Island, New York, I'm assuming. I'm catching up on the comments here, so I'm going to read upward here. McLeod, I hit the wall. I'm done buying tobacco. With the exception of one or two of the odd small batch releases here and there, I've cataloged my cellar. Very enlightening. McLeod, permit me to make a guess at how many pounds of tobacco you're sitting on. I think I know I've asked this before, but I'm going to make a guess. My original guess was going to be low, but I'm gonna go high. I think you're sitting on 30 pounds of tobacco, which is close to my max. Way, way, way back in the day. I'm nowhere close to that now. I'm sitting on a pound and a half at any one time at this point. 2 pounds tops. Smithtown. Okay. 30 pounds. 30 pounds is my guess. But I know I asked this like 4 or 5, 6 months ago. I feel like I'm still low. I think you got an astronomical amount. Astronomical. Do you feel it in your belly? Do you feel it in your head? Like, where do you feel the 50-ish? Do you feel it on your shoulders, like a monkey on your back? Where does those 50 pounds? Men carry their weight around their midsection. Women carry their weight around their thighs. But men carry their tobacco weight. I think it's on their head. I'm not sure. Richard T, thanks for stopping by, brother, out in the Northwest, out in the Seattle territory. McLeod, I have about 25 pounds of just 25 pounds of English, which is probably 20 pounds more than I need. Jesus Christ. You ever heard those TV shows called Hoarders? They need one like called Tobacco Hoarders. Yeah, close enough. Seattle, Vancouver, all the same thing. Okay, no joke, guys. No joke. We're all friends here. Um, who's getting tired of English? Is there? I'm sorry. Let me reel it back. This is a fishing rod. So I'm gonna reel this back in. Let me rephrase the question. My question is there anyone here, and there's 8 of us, plus one, so that's 9. Is there any of us here who are getting more into Latakia? And I'll stop the question at that. In other words, do you find yourself smoking more Latakia this year than last year, and you're happy about it? Or do you have no comment? My assumption is, my hypothesis is that more people than not are getting kind of played out on Latakia, and so maybe they're holding steady or going down, but few people are increasing. But I don't know because I don't talk to many pipe smokers these days, so I'm completely in the blind. Not possible to be tired of English blends, but it is certainly cold weather. And yes, hold on a second. More Latakia, the better. What I say. All right, we got a sample of one there. I smoked nothing but Latakia heavy English blends for the first 18 years. Jesus Christ. I've grown more interested in the complexity of Virginian vapors. We've grown apart. I don't know how your taste buds could handle 18 years, but I applaud the effort. That's the best I can say. I will take all the Latakia I can get my paws on. Ah, you know how in today's medical technology, you can transplant a hand, you can transplant skin grafts. If you could transplant taste buds, I would be the first to sign up. If I could replace my taste buds for what they were 5, 6, 7 years ago, and taste Latakia for the first time, I would do it. I would spend the amount of like 3 or 4 VHS tape players back in the day to have those. I'll go ahead and call them like English virgin-esque taste buds that have never tasted the smoky beautifulness of Latakia. I feel like my taste buds they've moved on. They've went a different direction, and I'll never get them back. If I had a time machine, I would go back and steal them. Which, by the way, I almost forgot to mention this. I got a huge order from smokingpipes.com. All Cornell and deal. I'm not proud to say that, but in hindsight, I wish I would have diversified a little more. I wish I would have got some of the Peterson's uh, match of Dunhill Flake. I forgot about it. I went whole hog on Cornell and Deal for the 150th time. I'm not proud about it, but I did it. But I did get a big Oriental order this time around. So I got Oriental Silk. I got 4 ounces of Oriental Silk to blend with a lot of other tobaccos to make all my tobaccos have at least a little bit of Oriental in them. My mindset has changed a little bit. I'm not opening a tin over here and a tin over here and a tin over here. I'm opening tins and I'm sprinkling Oriental in all of them because all the blends from Cornell and Deal are already blends already. So I'm just modifying the blend ratio, basically. All right, let me catch up in the comments here, guys. Hold on a second. I just miss smoking, period. Stratman, can you not smoke anymore? Moncloud, I've sworn to go deep on a few blends. Good idea. And to accomplish this, I'll be trading out and swapping my odds and ends without going over the bewildering. There's a lot of syllables in these words, man. Without without going over the bewildering number I'm currently at. I can only pronounce 3 syllables this time of night. Richard T. Sadly, up here in Vancouver, Canada, not the U.S., I cannot find much Latakia. Thus, I like the word thus, by the way. That appeared in our elementary school textbooks a lot. Thus, it is a treat. So I really enjoy it and try to make what I have. Yeah, scarcity is proportional to enjoyment. It's hard to enjoy something you have a lot of. If you have a little bit of something, psychologically, you tend to enjoy it more. My last U.S. tobacco purchase cost me around $100 a tin. Come on, no way. Purchase cost me $100 a tin with duty fees and whatnot. Wow. Geary, welcome by the way. Just popped a tin Dunhill Flake. Damn it, man. Square tin. I'm jealous, Geary. I'm jealous. Cloud, Oriental Leaf is like the MSG of varieties, makes everything taste better. I agree. I'm biased, of course. I haven't had the time to sit and have a smoke these days. Stratman, you're sitting right now. You're looking at my screen. You can smoke right now. Come on. That's no excuse. You might be inside. It's frickin' September. Take your laptop, walk outside, and smoke. I feel like a drill sergeant. I shouldn't have to tell you this. You have the ability to smoke right now. All right. I forgot to say thanks, guys. I haven't been on this. I haven't done a live stream in a while, but I was hoping to get a few watchers. I'll try to be as entertaining as I can. Appreciate you watching. We're gonna go into my cellar. See what I bought. This is the most recent view of the house. Let's go get some stuff here. I'm going to bring some stuff out just to talk about, not to smoke. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. I brought out some conversation pieces here. Let me catch up on the comments here. Geary, I did. Yes, I did. I bought 4 ounces of bulk Oriental silt, which I've talked about many times in the past on this channel. However, with Cornell and Deal, every couple months, if you buy the same blend, it could be completely different. So it's like going to the casino when you buy Cornell and Deal. You never know what you're going to get. I should have said that's a quote from a movie. Tom Hanks. Jesus Christ, what's it called? Came out in 1994. can't think of it now. Forrest Gump. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Anyway, let me knock out my talking points here. Give me a second. I haven't opened this yet. I've had it before. I've talked about it before. Temple Bar, an Oriental heavy tobacco. I've had great experience with this before. I haven't opened it. I'm waiting for to smoke through the stuff that I got, but I ordered about $100 worth of tobacco that was either Balkan, which means it has Oriental in it, or just Oriental blends. So this is one. I wanted to talk about this one, which I don't think most of you have had, which is Montgomery GLPs. I'm a big GLPs fan in general. There's some hit or misses on GLPs. I would be surprised if anyone here has actually bought this. It smells great. The mixture feels great, but to be honest, it's not that great. And therefore, I mix it with other stuff. It's a high quality tobacco, but it just doesn't do much for me. So it was kind of a miss. I don't recommend this one. I don't recommend Montgomery. But I got it. I got 8 ounces, so I'm slowly mixing it. I'm going to catch up on the comments here in a second. And then lastly, from 6 months ago, I'm still trying to make use of LJ Paredes. If you can see Paredes on there. Most of you know or are familiar with the Boston company, LJ Paredes. It's one location. You got to call them to order. They got a long history, but it's all kind of mysterious of where the tobacco comes from and whatnot. But this is Pashkent. I bought 333 as well. I'm not going to talk about it. It is what it is. It's interesting, but I'm fairly diversified. Before I catch up on the comments, though, I don't want to lose my thought. Right now, there's nothing more that I would want than 20 tins of Dunhill Flake. I just want Dunhill Flake. I don't care. It's the match. I know they went out of business, but I've had the match by Peterson's, and it's extremely close. All I want to smoke is Dunhill Flake. I wish I had 50 pounds of it. I would give up all this Cornell and Deal stuff to smoke Dunhill Flake for the rest of my life. That's my view as of this moment, because I really, really, really miss it. And my taste buds are so done with Cornell and Deal for right now. Obviously, your tastes change over time, but I just want some goddamn Dunhill Flake right now, to be honest. I don't want Irish Flake. I want Dunhill Flake. Big, big, big difference. I don't want... I could do Solani 633, but my taste buds are really getting burnt out on Cornell and Deal. But that's my fault. I kept buying and I kept buying and I kept buying. Anyway, all right, let me catch up on the comments here. Stratman, David, have you tried Boswell's Northwoods? Many years ago, Stratman, I did. I've had a decent amount of Northwoods. I've had most of the Boswell's stuff. I went up to Pennsylvania. I've been at the store. I did most of their flavored stuff when I was a new pipe smoker, heavy Cavendish blends. But they had Railroad Station. I like Boswell's Railroad Station. That was probably my favorite. I had Magnum Blend by Boswell's. I went through their whole portfolio. If I had to order anything from Boswell's again, it would be Railroad Station, which they may not make anymore. Mr. Kimba, welcome. Long time no see. I have 1 tin of DH Dunhill Flake. Make me want to crack that open. Stratman, I'll buy it from you, man. Are you done with? So, Mr. Kimba, I'm not done with Cornell and Deal, but I blame myself. I have not diversified. Everything in my house, excluding LJ Paredes from 6 months ago, is Cornell and Deal. So I blame myself for not having a variety of tins. I do have one or two European tins, but I just have a one thing about this hobby is you stick with what you know, and sometimes you wish you didn't. Sometimes you wish you were a little more adventurous. And I don't know. Buying tobacco, I'm going to take a break here for a second and talk about the psychology of buying tobacco. I'll tell you about my psychology of buying tobacco. I go to smokingpipes.com. They got all the tobacco in the world. But usually I'm a very impatient man. So I'm trying to fill up a cart in under 5, 10, 15 minutes. And you start searching, you're searching. And we spend so much time on laptops. We're searching for movies and videos and Amazon. So I'm in a hurry. And I think subconsciously, I'm like, well, what have I smoked last month? What I smoked last year? And so I end up filling up my cart with the things I've smoked recently. When what I should be doing is spending time venturing out and trying new things. But then, and you guys know this, you start weighing out like, do I want to take a risk of something I never had? Or do I want to order the thing that I gave like a B minus or B plus to before? So it's this constant shopping for tobacco is a struggle of safety versus adventurousness. It's tough. Being a pipe smoker is tough, man. It's not a hobby, it's a sport. That's what I would say. Would I buy Bob's chocolate flake? No. Would I want to taste someone else's single flake in my pipe to taste it? Yes. that's the kind of psychology a tobacco buyer goes through. Geary, two things. Peterson's version of the Dunhill flake is the same as the Dunhill, same production line. I agree, man. I agree. I couldn't tell the difference. That's why I was so adamant about wanting Dunhill flake. I think it's the same. Also, I like it, but second half of bowl is boring. I'll give you that. Dude, Solani 633, I gotta admit, there's nothing in the Cornell and Deal lineup that, as my father would say, he passed away over a decade ago, but one of my father's favorite comments was he would compare something by saying, can't hold a candle to it, meaning product A can't hold a candle to product B. There's nothing in the Cornell and Deal lineup that can hold a candle to Solani 633. There's no equivalent to Solani 633. Solani 633 is so, I'm not saying it's the best thing on earth, but it is so unique. I've never been smoking a Cornell and Deal blend and said, oh my God, this is close to Solani 633. Never happened. Never happened. I'm a big Solani fan. Richard, good night, brother. Did anyone grab some of the Carolina Red Flake that released tonight? I would not. Amongst those of you here, is anyone? Give me your thoughts. We're just. Let me ask a more specific question. And you can just type in the percentage. Out of the tobacco you have, just type in your percentage of the tobacco you have that is from Cornell and Deal, and that includes GLPs, obviously. Is it 50%? Is it 25? Is it 75%? I'm curious. For me, it's 90%. I will tell you while you're typing in your answers, I will show you the two exceptions that I have, which are noteworthy, I think. I'm not a Cornell and Dill complete fanboy. I've done a little bit of adventuring. Stratman, okay, about half, less than half. Including all the blends Cornell Deal makes, other than brands, probably 50%. Okay. So I went back in my history, I probably had a Delta 8 Dream. I did buy this, Robert McConnell's Oriental. This is one of my first tins. There's a video on YouTube on my channel. I don't know, 2015 from 2016 that I actually quickly reviewed this blend. It was one of my, I bought a pipe within a couple weeks. I bought this tin. And so it's like a revisiting of it. Again, I'm not a big Latakia lover, but it was good to get out of the Cornell and Dill universe. It smells amazing. But I ended up mixing it. I didn't love it. It was hard to, it looks so goddamn pretty though. I wanted to love it. I love the art. I love the font. I love everything about it aesthetically. But I'm more of a mixer these days. So I open a tin. If I don't like it, I start mixing it. I want to move on to a more serious topic, which is Melange, Stammo Melange. I've talked about this last year, the year before. If there was an MVP of pipe tobacco, an unsung hero, a Rocky, if I could say that, an underdog that punches above its weight, it is Melange. And when I say it, I want to use my hand because it deserves it. Melange. Melange is so fantastic and so cheap. This is like a $9 tin. This is cheaper than any other 2-ounce tin. Sorry, is it 2 ounce or 150 grams? 50 gram. 50 gram. For a 50-gram tin, this is so goddamn cheap and so goddamn amazing for what it is, for blending, for smoking straight. It is an elixir. If we're back in the 1800s, I would prescribe this for coughs, for itches, for mosquito bites, for anything. It is a universal elixir in tobacco. I don't know why this is not more popular. I've talked about this a long time ago. It is the best find. I would put this, I don't have it on me, but if I had a tin of Cornell and Deal's Oak Alley, I would put them side by side as the two biggest finds in my entire pipe tobacco career. Dead serious. It is. It's hard to be continually surprised by tobacco that you've smoked many, many times before. It's just magical, man. It's just magical. I don't know what they do, but it's magical. All right, I'll get off my soapbox. Peter number 2, thanks for chiming in, by the way. I haven't seen your name here before. Have you tried Solani aged Burley? Of course. I've had the entire Solani line except for the very small volume stuff. Solani aged Burley Flake heavily topped, very good, very decent, but too highly topped, meaning flavored, for my taste. But I do recommend for someone who's trying to get into burley. But just be warned, if you if you buy and smoke aged burley flake and then move to a Cornell and Deal burley, it's apples and oranges. You're gonna fall off a cliff from, oh, aged burley flake smokes pretty smooth, and then you go to like burley flake number 2, burley flake number 3, burley flake number 4 or 5. It's just gonna. I don't mean down meaning bad. I mean I'm saying it's gonna be a level shift of harshness. So aged burley flake does not taste like other burleys. I'll put it that way. Let's see here. Stratman, whoa, Stratman, you got Stanwell's Melange? You have this in your house? Is that what you're saying? If you have this in your house, you've got to open this in the next couple days. There's no excuse. Let the Melange tell the truth. This is beautiful stuff, man. It's beautiful. I never wanted to write a song about a tobacco. I would write a song about this. And Oak Alley. Mr. Kimba, I need to try the Melange. I discovered St. Bruno Ready Rubbed. I never had that, by the way, in the spring, and I have been addicted ever since. That I'm not an aromatic lake. St. Bruno is Lakeland. Does it have a little bit of Lakeland or a lot of Lakeland? I have some experience with the Lakeland. I've had Bird's Eye, and I've had the more heavily flavored Lakelands. Stratman, what are you doing? You've been sitting on Melange, and you have not smoked it. I haven't talked about this for like months. That means you've had this for like months. What are you doing? There's no excuse. You've got to open this tomorrow. I'm dead serious, man. This is special stuff. All right, I'll stop talking about Melange. It's also fun to say. Very mild floral topping in the St. Bruno. Okay. Not St. Bird's Eye. Bird's Eye, which I've talked about before, but I have not ordered. I shall crack it. Stratman, your quote reminds me of the 1980 film Release the Kraken. Jesus, what is it called? Release the Kraken. It's this ancient Greek movie. Release the Kraken. Clash of the Titans. Clash of the Titans. Geary, an aromatic I like is Rat Ray's Exotic Passion. I love Rat Rays in general, Geary, but with the Rat Rays, I stick with the trio. I stick with the. It's been a while since I've had them now. I forget what they're called. They're all three together. They're all slight variations of one another. I don't get into the Rat Race Accountant's Blend. If you open tobacco reviews and you sort by rating of Rat Race, 3 come to the top and everything else falls off the ledge. Accountant's Mixture has like a 2.2. The other 3 are pretty close. There you go. Old Gallery. Marlin Flake, that's considered the 4th. Marlin Flake is kind of out here. But How the Wind, Old Gowrie, and Brown Clooney. Brown Clooney, How the Wind, or Wind, and Old Gowrie, those are very close. Those are like the 3 siblings. And then everything else is much more different than those 3. All right, boys, I'm gonna let's take a vote here. I can hang out for another half hour or so. Should I smoke in the name of science? I haven't really smoked melange straight. I've been mixing it. So I could do melange or Robert McConnell's Oriental. I'm going to hold these here until I get a majority vote of at least 2-1. Okay, Oriental is coming to the top from McLeod. Melange. Okay, so we're even. Oh no, man! I mix all the time. I feel like I should do a straight smokes. Although I can't help but to think about the beauty of mixing them. Let me ask this: has anyone here had Robert McConnell's anything? Do you have any of this in your cellar, and have you smoked any Robert McConnell's recently? In other words, what I'm trying to ask is Robert McConnell's overrated, underrated, or just kind of meh? I'm not really sure about the reputation of Robert McConnell's blends these days. McLeod, I haven't had Oriental, but I love Robert McConnell's blends, solid stuff, produced by K&K, which is kind of a parent company that owns a lot of these. Recently smoked Oriental. It's a standard English with a slight sweet note. McConnell's is so hard to get. I've never tried it. In that case, let's do screw it. Melange. We're doing melange. Oh, we're cracking a new tin. I love the Jesus Christ. If I describe the words, it might turn people off because some people have a negative association with the flavor I'm about to say. Your grandma used to make these maybe like coconut macaroons with chocolate drizzles with a light hint of coconut. Not coconut, but like a light hint of coconut. And coconut is a close approximation. It doesn't smell like coconut, but the closest thing I can describe is coconut. But it's just heaven. It's just heaven. I just want to bathe in it. I literally just want to bathe in this stuff. I think these tobacco blenders should make a line of they should make a line of like bubble bath for some of this stuff. You could smoke it while bathing in it. Why not? Double dip. They can call it the double dip. All right. So while I pack this up, I'll tell a quick story about how I hate aromatics and how excluding this single blend, I'm being dead serious. I have not bought knowingly an aromatic in over 5 years. Lightly top blends, sure. Some GLP stuff like there's a couple of GLP's blends that have like a light topping, Hados Delight, and there's another one I can't remember right now. It has a like a white pomegranate topping. Very light though. Topped is different than aromatic. When you smell this, you would think that this is going to be. It smells so aromaticy that I would almost not light it, but I know from experience what it tastes like, and so I can get past that bias. And from from the charring light, my only recommendation is sell every tin you have on eBay and just buy $1,000 of Melange. I'm a skeptic by nature, but it's just so goddamn beautiful. I just can't put it into words. And again, I talked about this many months ago, maybe even 2 years ago. I don't understand how this is so cheap. How I've spent so much more money on so much more inferior blends than this. It's the biggest unsung hero of any tobacco I've ever bought as of today, and that's going on. I bought my first pipe in 2014, maybe like 7 years. Probably bought 150, 170 different blends. It's crazy. I bought it on a whim a couple years ago at JR Cigars off Highway 40 in North Carolina on a whim. Had low expectations. Didn't research it, didn't read about it. It was a magical find, I guess. All right, let me catch up in the comments here. David, question: do you feel a tobacco tastes different once you freshly open and different the next time you smoke it? Stray Man, I would say the moisture content, obviously, but I'm so impatient that I want to crack them right away, and so I think after 30 days, I can start noticing dryness. That sometimes helps blends, but sometimes hurts blends. But the only blends that get dried out are the ones that I didn't like in the first place. Why? Because if I liked them, they wouldn't have sat around long enough to get dried out. So it's kind of like a logical loop where if I reopen a tin and it's dry, that actually tells me that I didn't really like it to begin with because I put it away. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. McCloud, all right, I'm fading fast. Take care, David. McCloud, have a good night, brother. Mr. Kim, at 99 reviews, 3.2 average on tobacco reviews. That's pretty impressive for Melange. Peter number 2 made a comment earlier. Sorry, Peter. Scottish flake and cake are popular. From Robin McConnell's, I'm assuming. Yeah. Geary, Sutliff 507C. First of all, that sounds like an engine. Why do they give these names? Like, those are complex names. Sutliff 507C Virginia Slices is my new favorite, and it's super cheap bulk blend made by McBaron. Okay. I personally am not a McBaron fan, but I have a lot of experience with McBaron. Why? Because for those of us who go to brick and mortar stores these days, still, and you open up those jars, they all have names that the local brick and mortar put on them, and about half of those jars are relabeled McBaron blends. There's a couple McBaron blends I think are decent, but I am not a McBaron fan. The H.H. McBaron Burley Flake is the only. Mr. Kimba beat me to the punch. The H.H. Burley Flake is amazing, actually. It's not just good, it is fantastic. Other than that, I would never see myself, and I should have ordered some of that, by the way. I should have. See, now I'm mad at myself. I should have ordered that. Anyway, other than the Burley Flake, I wouldn't order anything from the Marin. And that includes one blend I've danced around with. Help me out, guys. Plum cake. Plum cake is McBaron, right? Plum cake was one of my very first tins. Actually, my very first tin that I bought. I've revisited a few times, and it smells amazing when you crack. I mean, when you crack open plum cake, man, because it's like a navy flake. You get some of the rum in there. You just want to rub it on your body. Like, you want to use it as a cologne. Like, it is amazing. But I can't really tell you exactly what happens when you smoke it, but it doesn't quite deliver what it smells like. And so I've never finished a bowl of plum cake and I'm like, by God, that's amazing. However, when I crack open the tin, I'm extremely excited. And the opposite happens sometimes with Cornell and Deal, where I don't even bother to smell it because it doesn't smell like anything. But you get pleasantly surprised. So I have an affection for plum cake, but I have yet to meet a man who says, "I'm a plum cake fan. I've been buying plum cake for 10 years straight." Does anyone here has anyone here bought more than 4 tins of plum cake in their life? Dead serious. If so, I would like to have a conversation. DJ, welcome. I think Mr. Kimba's either has smoked a tin of plum cake or has a tin of plum cake in the cellar. It's a beautiful tin, by the way. The tin art on plum cake is attractive. I'm telling you, boys, melange. Melange all day long. It is so beautiful. One of my biases against this tin, Stanwell makes pipes. I never bought a tobacco tin with that had the name of a pipe manufacturer on it because I knew that it was just a relabeled tobacco with a stamp of a manufacturer's name on it. And I didn't really trust it, to be honest. There's a lot of other tins like that, like Ashton's and whatnot, that make cigars. So I just never had a lot of trust on this, but I bought it because it was cheap many years ago, and huge, huge surprise. DJ, never had plum cake, but I'm a fan of H.H. Burley in Pure Virginia. Sadly, I've never tried it or bought it, but I've been tempted for years after watching matches smoke it as a Christmas blend years ago. Okay. Mr. Kimba, can you share with us the last aromatic blend that you have smoked and enjoyed? equally the last aromatic blend you smoked and hated? Give us a taste of both, if possible. I'm assuming anyone watching this channel is not a big aromatic fan, but we all venture out occasionally. I could smoke this every day, all day long. To be honest, my family tree doesn't have any French in it, but I'm almost on the verge of renouncing my citizenship to become French if I could smoke Melange for the rest of my life. Like, this is the only blend I would want to get a tattoo of, just like right here, just Melange. I know they say you're not supposed to age aromatics, but this might be the exception. I feel like I want to bury a time capsule in my backyard and just fill it with melange, just in case the supply goes thin. I just want to ensure that I have enough melange to last the rest of my life. Um, Mr. Kimba says, I enjoyed St. Bruno, which I think qualifies. I think St. Bruno's not an aromatic, though. I thought St. Bruno's was like a hardcore, burlesque 1960s, hard to find blend, but I'll let you answer that later. The worst is Gowith and Hogarth Rum Flake, which was way too much Lakeland. Okay. What? Okay. When you say something like Gowith and Hogarth Rum Flake, which was way too much, in my mind, before I finished the sentence, I thought too much rum. No, it was too much Lakeland flowery stuff, apparently. DJ, I had to throw out some Drew Estate. Ugh. Before I finish that sentence, when I think Drew Estate, I think cherry, I think heavily flavored cigars. So I'm expecting bad things. I had to throw out some Drew Estate Harvest on the Hudson the other day. Never could get through it. DJ, what is the dominant? Oh, apple. Okay. Apple? I couldn't smoke apple. That doesn't sound right. On that note about apple, I did show a good friend of mine this tin several months ago, the last time I bought it. I loved it. I had him crack it open, smell it, and apparently he had again, it doesn't taste like coconut in my mind, but the closest fruit would be coconut. But he had an affliction against coconut where he gave one smell and almost like pulled it away from his nose. And it was, to him, it was sickening. I've never experienced that before. Some people have extreme reactions to either fruits or vegetables. I guess mine would be olives. I hate olives. I'm trying to think of a sickening fruit that I would not want to smoke a tobacco flavored as. No, there is one. There is one. Give me a second. Jesus. There is a fruit that I hate. The hell is it? I just caught myself saying it the other day. There's a fruit that I wished never existed. Prunes don't have a Prunes are just grapes, man. Durian is more of a Asian fruit, so we don't really have that issue in the U.S. Giri, Amphora Full Aroma is a nice codger semi-arrow worth trying. Amphora is a pouch, right? That's that pouch stuff. Never had that. No, I think this raises a more interesting question. When you're going through the grocery store, what are the fruits you don't even bother grabbing, like from the counter? Um, it's so interesting to figure out what what flavors make people disgusted when it comes to natural flavors, not artificial flavors. I was just thinking about this the other day too. Damn it. Um, what the hell was it? I'm trying to visualize walking through a grocery store, and I kind of have an issue with Cornell and Deal's pomegranate topping with like Cairo. Cairo's a Cairo is so close to being a fantastic blend, but pomegranate is not a common flavor to add to tobacco. So I don't know why the hell they do it. I can deal with it. Sometimes it's interesting, but it just begs the question why? Why would you add out of all flavors, why would you add pomegranate to a tobacco? It doesn't I don't know. I just think the only topping you should add to any tobacco is melange. But that's what a dictator would say. Solani has like a mango flavored tobacco that I've tried way back in the day. That didn't work out so well. Boswell's is probably one of the more adventurous blenders that have tried to add chocolate flavoring, but you can't. There's some things you just can't. You can smell, but you can't smoke. You can't smoke chocolate. I think half the guys on here have tried some sampler packs from Boswell's, and they have so many blends that are so Cavendish rich and sweet, which would be great for blending. Don't get me wrong, but are so wet that you're gonna get a mouthful of sugar. But a lot of blenders have tried like a chocolate blend, but it never really tastes like chocolate. It smells like chocolate, but it doesn't really taste like chocolate. Whereas certain rum blends or navy blends. Oh, that's a good comment, Geary. Geary, have you ever smoked a blend that, in your honest opinion, gave you the approximate vibe of eating chocolate, but you're smoking it? It's a difficult chemistry experiment to pull off. And the more I'm talking about Boswell's, like there is something about an aromatic that is kind of like on a Saturday or Sunday. There is something about smoking a sweet blend. But I think these days I would always mix it so I can control the sweetness. I would never, if I bought Boswell's again, I would never like grab a pinch and put it in my pipe. I would grab a pinch and blend it with something, my Cornell and Deal stuff, so I could kind of like add gentle layers of aromatic tobaccos. I don't like the all or nothing. When you have a continuum of aromatic and non-aromatic, I think the sweet spot is somewhere in the middle. DJ Boswell blends. They have some decent English blends though. So DJ, your straight-faced emoji tells me you've bought probably some sampler packs. Give us a little more content here. What was your experience with Boswells? And be honest. We all know they're pretty Cavendish heavy. I always forget. Is it PG or GP? Glycolene propol or propylene glycol? It's very shiny. When you buy a sampler pack from Boswell's, it looks glisteningly wet, basically. Mr. Kimba, I have some McClellan Taste Master, which is gooey chocolate blend that's only smokable if I mix it with Cornell Deal Pegasus. I'm so pissed off by two aspects of that comment. Number one, you have McClellan of any type in your cellar. And number two, that you're bastardizing my beloved Cornell Deal Pegasus with something called Taste Master. That reminds me of the 1982 movie called Beastmaster with what was his name? Mark somebody. I forget the lead actor's name. Great movie, bad tobacco. DJ, early on when I was into arrows, I liked them, but the propylene glycol, there we go, is overwhelming in their flavors. I'm not sure, you don't really taste PG. I think it's more of a byproduct of, I mean, Jesus Christ, McClellan, every blend I opened up, there you if you had a light on in your house, you get blinded. That shit was so shiny compared to Cornell and Deal, which was what I grew up with. All McClellan stuff looked like it came out of a modeling contract, like on a runway. It was all super shiny, like it had mousse on its hair. Taste Master cis gross on its own, but Pegasus makes it great. Only McClellan I have is some grand. Geary, I'm jealous. I'm extremely jealous. You are still sitting on the Grand Oriental series, what, 5 years after McClellan went under? I am seriously jealous. Just conjuring up memories of the video I made on the Grand Oriental series of McClellan. Great stuff. Samson. There was a green tin, there's a white tin. That was some great tobacco. That was some great tobacco. You're a lucky man, brother, if you're still sitting on that Oriental series. If I was smart, I would have bought up a shit ton back in the day. What was the white tin? The white tin was. I should know this. Let me Google it here. brought back. Oh, yeah. Drama Reserve, man. Drama Reserve. That was fantastic. Jeez. It's got a 3.7 on tobacco reviews. It was so different. So different. And even though I bought 4 ounces, like in my cellar right now, I've got 4 ounces of Oriental Silk by Cornell and Deal. It's not the same. It's not the same as any of the McClelland Oriental series. It's good, but there was nothing quite like that. It was a magical time in tobacco history. Dude, Pete, they were magical times, man. I'm glad I made videos where I captured my thoughts and feelings in the moment, because I don't go back and watch my old videos, but one day I will, and because it would be hard to remember exactly what you thought in the moment while you're smoking it. But I remember that video. I remember exactly where I filmed it. It was on Person Street in Raleigh, North Carolina, in the afternoon at my favorite bar at that time, which has since closed because I moved away from that place. I remember where the camera was at, and I remember that the sun was out. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and so memories are important. It's kind of like a photo album of memories. And I had all four. I had all Drama Reserve, the Sea Salt blend, the Yindigi. I never knew how to pronounce that one. Yindigi. There was 4 of them. Drama Reserve and Samson were a close tie, though. I remember that distinctly. But even, I'm being dead serious. Like, even the memories I had of Drama Reserve versus Temple Bar, which I haven't cracked it. This is a brand new tin, but I had this like 6 months ago. This is a great Oriental blend, but it's a mile away from Drama Reserve. There's nothing. There's nothing like Drama Reserve. Probably never will be. And I'm sure Drama Reserve is not 100% Oriental. I'm sure it was some kind of mixture, but we'll never know. That's kind of the mystery of the blending art. It was fantastic. I'm not against propylene glycol, the PG stuff. Sometimes I'm sure it added to the experience. When you crack open a tin, I got to be honest, everyone's biased toward how pretty it looks, how pretty the tobacco looks. When you cracked open a tin of Cornell and Deal versus when you crack open a tin back in the day, McClelland, the McClelland would look like you got a Cadillac or you got a Mercedes. The Cornell and Deal would look like you bought a Kia. It just didn't. One was much prettier looking than the other. Much prettier looking. Mr. Kim, it wasn't too long ago when you could get just about any tobacco or blend you wanted anytime you wanted. Everything was always in stock. That's true. That is true. My question is, what should I stock up on now? Let me rephrase the question. McClelland went out of business about 5 years ago. What should we be stocking up on now? Because they're probably going to go out of business next year. I know. Melange. Everyone to stock up on Melange. which apparently I'm still smoking. This has been a long bowl. Mr. Kimma, can you entertain us by talking about, I'm being dead serious, has there been a semi-aromatic that you've enjoyed in the last year that you were somewhat surprised at because you didn't think it was going to be your cup of tea, but pleasantly surprised you? And again, I'm not a big aromatic fan myself, to the point where it's probably not accurate to say that I'm not an aromatic fan because I don't buy aromatics. The occasional Lane 1Q sampler ounce from a brick and mortar is about as far as I delve into the aromatic realm. When a blender comes out with a peanut butter blend, then I'll know that we've went off the deep end. There's only so many different flavors you can try to impart on tobacco. Pete, the strict FDA rules regulations impose too many restrictions and rules on tobacco. I would agree with that. All right, boys. I think I'm going to call it a night. I just looked at the clock here, and it's almost 1 o'clock. I want to thank you for joining me. It's been a long time. I'll try to do another one of these from the kayak on a lake because that's a lot more interesting. And until then, we'll see you next time. Again, thanks for hanging out with me. Take care.